Okay, Audacity 3.2 is out. Very excited. It's the first time they have shipped an ARM build for Mac.
ARM, baby, ARM.
So actually, between Audacity and OBS, both shipping proper official ARM builds in the last couple weeks, I have officially threaded the needle and never installed Rosetta 2 on that MacBook. That's not what I'm here to talk about.
But like that's a big deal. That means you have a fully functional laptop again.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Well, it was 90% functional already.
Yeah, but for somebody who records podcasts with Audacity, not having Audacity running, a little bit of a hassle.
Hey, Audio Hijack. Look, the Rogue Amoeba folks have fixed me up just fine. But the thing I was here to discuss,
oh no,
is download pages for software.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like?
I wouldn't dare to guess.
Well, look, let me rephrase this. 90% of the time, it's fine.
Okay.
But the default posture of most software download pages these days, which is to auto-select your OS and then just start downloading the install file they think you want.
Yeah.
Like once in a while, that's kind of annoying. Like, for example, when I use this Windows machine to go to Audacity and see if that ARM build is available, and they just start downloading an installer for the Windows version that I don't.
Okay, but wait, did you okay, so did you type audacity.org or whatever the URL is, .net into the address bar, or did you search for it and then you clicked on the download page link?
No, I went to audacityteam.org and clicked download to go to the downloads page.
Oh, because you wanted to see if there was an ARM OS 10 binary.
Just send me to like a raw ass Apache file directory listing. That's what I want.
You see, this doesn't bother me because I just nuke my downloads folder about every month.
Okay,
usually.
so the main reason this is really annoying is just having to go find the installer that you didn't want and delete it.
Yep, nope, not a problem. Control-A, delete.
So, okay, this leads to a pretty pronounced difference in our download folder strategies.
Look, the download folder is an ephemeral place where you should keep nothing of value, and everything in there should be subject to automatic deletion at any moment. I should honestly script this.
Let's say theoretically I agree with you.
Uh-huh. How big is your download folder, Brad?
Like size-wise?
Yeah, how many things are in there?
The number of items.
Is it still counting?
I don't want to discuss this.
Is it still counting? Is it still going up?
Hang on, I could use Space Sniffer and actually see a visual representation of what's taking up.
What's Space Sniffer?
It's like WinDirstat or WizTree.
But modern?
I don't know that I'd say it's necessarily like that much better than those others.
Well, I feel like WinDirstat hasn't been updated in a long time, and It handles symlinks poorly.
Okay, that might be the reason I changed. I can't remember why I switched, but Space Sniffer is pretty good. It's similar.
That's pretty good. It has a dog as an icon with a little Sherlock Holmes hat too. That's cool.
Yeah, look. Sniffing out those files. All right.
How many files, Brad? Quit trying to distract me with the cute dog.
I don't want to say.
Is it more or less than 10,000?
19,469 files.
Oh, wow. I thought 10,000 was the ultimate high. Holy shit.
There's like a couple of open source projects with their source directories unzipped in there.
But, wow.
For reference.
No, you never unzip into the downloads folder. Oh, God.
Again, though, these are all things that theoretically are going to be deleted soon.
What's the oldest file in that folder?
Let's see.
I mean, this may not be fair because it's going to be the file creation date, probably not the time it was downloaded. When did you install Windows on this machine? Like 2015, 2016?
Like 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, probably about 3, actually. I think that 3 years might be my longest Windows install record to date.
Have you reinstalled Windows since the pandemic started?
I think it was right before.
Okay. Yeah, I did a reinstall last fall when Windows 11 came out.
Okay, the oldest file on here is from 2018.
Well, that's not too bad. 19,000 files, too many files. Good. It's time for the Control-A delete. Just send them away, Brad.
I can tell you, let's see, the oldest file on here is a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that is a zip of the event sounds from Windows NT4.
Oh, okay. Good startup sound on NT4, if I remember right. It's fast. It's faster than the Brian Eno one.
Yeah. Let's see. Here is the very first Cyberpunk 2077 trailer that I pulled from YouTube.
Is this the one that has that they fucked up the trailer on and didn't have like one of the audio channels or something?
No, I think I just wanted to download it.
Okay. I have one of the oldest video files that I have on my desktop is that Mummy trailer where they didn't put the right chroma or something on it and it's all jacked up.
Oh,
it's very good.
That's pretty good.
It's a bad movie. Good trailer though.
Here is a PDF. which is a reference guide for the Texas Instruments 486, SXLC, and SXL microprocessors.
Naturally. Yeah. Just put something Control A, delete.
Dude,
Control A, delete.
That was research.
Control A, delete.
That was research
Control A, delete.
For a potential episode of this podcast.
Control A, delete.
All right, fine.
Control A, delete.
Let's just record the show.
Welcome to Brad and Will Made a Tech Bot. I'm Will.
I am Brad. Hello.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel bad about your oversized downloads folder.
Again, that's not that big. Again, this is all stuff that theoretically either should have been deleted or sorted somewhere. I just never got around to.
This is why the Control A delete method is flawless.
Sure.
Because you know what? I can download it all again. It'll all be there.
Yes.
And I mean, let's see. My oldest file is from May. I haven't done it in a while.
That's okay.
Oh, nope. That's a zip file that was I unzipped the other day. So yeah, that was what I unzipped on Tuesday. You just got to get rid of it, man.
Well, good for you.
You just got to be able to let it go.
To be clear, I do prune plenty of stuff out of here. Like I delete stuff from the download folder all the time. It's just the stuff that is like, oh, I should probably keep that and store that somewhere that tends to pile up. Yeah.
The problem I have is that I don't have a good, like my documents folder is not the repository for documents anymore. I usually tend to put that stuff on the NAS and then like, basically I store everything. Since I'm really the only one that uses the NAS, I store everything in the public folder on the NAS. Mm-hmm. And then there's like, I have to reorganize. My public folder is your documents folder, is your downloads folder. That's what I'm saying.
I see.
Hey, I need to keep this. Where should I put it? I don't know. Chuck it in the public folder. It'll work itself out.
The truth is revealed. Yes.
Problem solved.
That's exactly the problem. It's just like, hey, well, I won't go through it. There's a lot of old video game stuff in here. Music and ROMs and stuff.
What?
Stuff like that.
Devilry. Brad, do you know what time it is?
It is time for questions.
Well, and answers.
And a time for answers. A time for questions and answers.
There's a time for questions and a time for answers.
My favorite John Grisham legal thriller, A Time for Questions and Answers.
Well, the Time for Answers is actually the sequel to A Time for Questions.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I found that it was a little bit underwhelming. I think those late stage posthumous John Grisham follow-ups, not maybe as good as the original novels, it turns out. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he's actually dead. I'm not sure.
No, he's still alive, actually.
Oh, well, hey, congratulations.
Believe it or not.
I feel like most of the 90s, like summer novel superstars, your Tom Clancy's, your Michael Crichtons, he's the only one left, right? Like
maybe
like Sue Grafton, I think, is still around. Patricia Cornwell still working.
Okay, sure. Oh gosh, there's another one.
But Tom Clancy left the Mortal Coil.
Yes,
sometime around the Iraq War, if I remember right.
Does Stephen King not count in that category?
He's 80s, I think, in my head.
Oh,
like
sure.
He was selling books in the 90s for sure.
Yes, 70s even.
Yeah, but like early 80s, early to mid 80s were his like king of the world moment.
Sure. Yes, Grisham put out a book last year.
Huh. Good for him.
As a matter of fact,
I really liked The Firm and A Time to Kill. Mm-hmm. Both were very good. I don't think I read any. Maybe I read the Pelican Brief. I can't remember. But yeah, we're going to turn some questions into answers. You can send your questions via electronic mail to techpod@content.town. Or if you are a member of the TechPod Patreon, which you can find out about by going to patreon.com/techpod, rare early plug there. Mm-hmm. You can post your questions in the questions seeking answer Q's seeking A's channel. See, we're referencing dating sites there, which is something that I don't think either of us have any real experience with.
Oh, never. I've never, not once.
They didn't exist when I met my wife.
Yeah. Never dabbled with online dating in any capacity.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I could say I was referencing the 90s alt weeklies where they had missed connections sections, a la Craigslist.
You know what is like kind of an interesting slice of life, like digital culture question to me these days is there anyone in the dating pool who does not do online dating stuff? Are there any purists out there at this point who insist on only meeting people in person?
So the Discord, my Twitch Discord, we have a fairly active group of younger people there, and there's a lot of talk about the horrors of online dating.
Okay.
And I remain profoundly grateful that my wife tolerates my bullshit long enough to not leave me alone.
Sure.
So
is it just something that quite literally everybody does these days? My
impression, and I am sure people will correct us if we're wrong, is that that it is an unavoidable horror of modern life.
Okay. Glowing endorsement.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read an email here.
Please do.
Have we dispensed with the preamble?
I mean, I feel like we can talk about the beard trimmers, but I think that's going to come up later. So
okay. Yes, probably. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to read this email from Xander first.
Hi, Xander.
Friend of the show. Why is HDMI-CEC such a nightmare? I have two Apple TVs with two different setups, and they both have different problems. Asking to solve the problems seems more like torture, so instead I'm going to ask this. There has to be a way to do testing and diagnostics with CEC, right? Right? How does one actually verify where the signals are failing?
I'm sure that there is some expensive tool that you can plug into an HDMI connection that will tell you what your CEC signal. So CEC, for people who don't know, is the thing that lets you control other devices on the HDMI chain with one device. So
yeah, what does it stand for? Consumer Electronics Control. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking. So I have a similar, like I have a situation in Apple TVs are weird. At least the first, let's see, it's the third gen. I think it's not the white one. It's not the first black small one. It's the second black small one that uses an A4, like an iPhone. It's basically an iPhone 4 without a screen that you plug into your TV. And it runs all the modern apps. It's like the first of the modern ones. Does 1080p. That one, if you plug it into a TV with a receiver plugged into it, it will adjust the volume on the receiver. If you just plug it into a TV, it will not adjust the volume of the TV with HDMI-CEC. It only does the TV volume with infrared that comes out of the front of the remote. It's profoundly annoying.
Oh, great.
Because that means that you can't use the app on your phone to adjust the volume on the TV, which is like I don't know about you. I use an Apple TV. I almost exclusively use the remote app on the phone to control it. I don't know. It may be that like CEC didn't support some stuff depending on what era of CEC you're talking about. Like it is a bad standard. We should probably do an episode. I think there's maybe an episode in this when I think about it.
You're probably not wrong, but I also feel like it would be very hard to find documentation for. Like this seems like the kind of standard that was designed by like entertainment and television and AV companies that don't necessarily have a lot of good workable experience designing standards. I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, so here's the thing. One of the problems is that often, and I'm sure Xander figured this out, but most, especially in the early days of CEC and ARC is the audio return channel, which is like lets you get audio from a device plugged into your TV back into a receiver or a soundbar or something. And
like eARC is the more modern variant.
Yeah, like the CEC especially used to be called different things. Different manufacturers called it different things. Like Panasonic used to call it Viera Link. Samsung had a different name for it. There's a bunch of them. And like, even as recently as launch Xbox Ones, there were devices that just didn't support it.
Not devices that don't support it, but devices that are very problematic with it. I mean, that persists to this day. I mean, the PlayStation 5, I can't say for sure, but I had the problem where the PlayStation 5 was crashing every time it went into rest mode, to the point that it had to be hard powered back on and had to like recover and check integrity of storage every time.
Oh, that sucks.
And I finally solved it, and I don't know exactly how, but a lot of people think it's related to the PS5 handling CEC very poorly. The Mister is famously awful with CEC.
The Mister is bad enough at CEC that I bought a thing that basically doesn't connect the CEC pins on either side of an HDMI adapter.
Did you get the Lindy one?
Yeah, I sent you the link to it. It's the same one.
I should have gotten that one. I got a different one it's like a little 6 or 8 inch HDMI cable that supposedly, but it has the exact same problems whether I have that thing plugged in or not. And I'm 90% sure they didn't actually disconnect. I need to continuity test it and see. I don't think they actually cut the pin they said they did. Yeah, I think it's different for everybody, but my specific setup, when I plug the Mister into my receiver over HDMI, leave it plugged in, turn the Mister off, turn the receiver off, the receiver will not power back on again while the Mister is still connected. Like, you hit the power button, use the remote. It just, like, the first time it happened, I literally spent about 2 hours assuming that my receiver had died. So until I just thought to unplug the Mister from the HDMI. And like, not only did it work again, but the second I pulled the Mister out of the HDMI,
the
receiver came on its own without any intervention. Like,
it
was like it had queued an on command, and like, it's weird. I don't know.
So I have the same receiver and the same Era TV from the same manufacturer as you. The problem I had was that it crashed the CEC chain on everything that was plugged into HDMI, and I had to completely power down everything in the entertainment center to make it work again.
It seems like a bad technology. It's unpredictable and unreliable enough that I would rather just turn it off on everything and suffer.
It's so convenient when it works, though.
I'd rather just suffer through using all the different remotes and doing everything manually, because having it behave in ways you don't want it to is so infuriating.
See, so the thing I will say is that I love having the remote app on like the control center of my phone so much that I will tolerate a bunch of nonsense. Also, I don't really have a whole lot of consoles hooked up to the TV it's just like the consoles hooked up to the TV in the living room are a Switch and an Xbox Series S, both of which seem to work fine. So
yeah,
I don't know. CEC sucks. That's the TLDR.
So does HDMI, for that matter.
HDMI is bad.
I was having all kinds of problems with the HDMI capture with that PiKVM. And you know what I did? I went and bought a DisplayPort to HDMI cable. And so I'm actually going out of the DisplayPort on the motherboard into the PiKVM's HDMI. And sure enough, all those problems went away. Now it works perfectly. Like, DisplayPort implements HDMI better than HDMI does.
I will say stuff like capturing live feed from a GoPro and stuff like that. hugely pain in the ass because of HDMI issues.
Yeah, HDMI handshaking is a fucking awful boondoggle. Okay.
Anyway, hey, we have a correction.
Yes,
we have two corrections actually.
You put these in here.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad about reading these.
Yeah, no. So, well, I was going to say, so we'll go ahead and read them, I guess.
Okay. The first one comes from Kali. Couldn't help myself. Had to send in this correction for episode 151. Will very confidently corrected Brad, saying the iPhone returned to its flat design like the iPhone 4, starting with the iPhone 10. This is super wrong. They started that design aesthetic again for the iPhone with the 12 in 2020. He's probably thinking of the iPad Pro, which was like 2017 to 2018 when they gave it that flat edge look. So I actually have the iPad Pro 10.5 from 2017. That one is not flat. My girlfriend has the 11-inch Pro.
That's the one that's flat, right?
That was the first one that became flat. We actually have those two models where that transition happened. So
yeah, and the thing I was thinking about was the front glass, which doesn't have the bulbous curve on it.
Yeah,
not the bezel. I think not the frame, which like the iPhone 10 frame is a little bit roundy, but the glass is flat. So there's no like bulging place that the glass can explode on the 10.
I think we may have also gotten a little bit of the 4 and 5 design language talk wrong. Remember the 5 was the one with the chamfered edges? Remember chamfering?
The 5 had the chamfered edges, but the 4 had flat edges that were kind of recessed.
Yes. So I think the 4, I liked the 5 quite a bit. I had the 5 and I enjoyed it. You know why I liked the 5 is because
you could monolith it.
Yes, the sides were still flat enough that for some reason in meetings, I always like to stand my phone up on the desk because I needed something to fiddle with in boring meetings.
I'm monolithing my 14 Pro right now.
Man, that's great. Shit.
Yeah, feels pretty good.
I might need. Okay.
Feels good, man. There's also another iPhone story correction. The 14 is the first time that the second tier phone had an old SoC.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think it matters is the takeaway.
Probably not.
Having gone from a 13 Pro to a 14 Pro, I'm not feeling a whole lot of speed difference.
Oh, I mean, their chips are like industry leading, right? In performance, like by a lot.
Stupid fast.
So yeah. I mean, it's more just the psychological, like, I don't want to pay for a new phone that has the same guts as the old phone. That feels bad.
The camera is a big enough improvement on the 14 that I feel okay about it. Honestly, the thing we didn't talk about in that iPhone episode is that if the 14 had the 2 right cameras on it, I would buy that instead of the Pro because the Pro's stainless body makes the phone too damn heavy.
Oh,
Like the 14. So the 14 has the wide camera and the normal camera. The cameras that I use are the normal camera and the telephoto camera. The wide camera I use for like stupid shots and novelties and stuff. So yeah, if I could get the telephoto and the normal lens on the 14, I would just buy that because it's a little bit lighter.
Huh.
Yeah. Or like, man, maybe make it I honestly wish the stainless frame was aluminum or titanium or something that wasn't quite so chonky.
I didn't expect it to make that big a difference.
It's heavy.
Okay. Here's a question from the cat's meow. If you could automate one household chore out of existence, what would it be? Man, that is tough.
Folding laundry.
Really?
I hate folding laundry.
I'm with you. So,
we have so much laundry because we have a kid.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
She's a constant generator of dirty clothes.
I don't know if you're like me. I tend to, in situations like that or dishwashing or whatever, I like the front end of the process better than the back end. Like, I don't mind doing laundry. I hate folding it. I don't mind like loading a dishwasher. I don't like unloading it.
Yeah, the rule in our house, and Gina has called me out on this many times. Like, I'm happy to load the dishes, load the washing machine and change it into the dryer and then take it and dump the clothes onto the bed to await folding. I don't like folding. I actually like unloading the dishwasher because it's like a game to see how fast I can do it.
Oh, so you know what I was about to say? I think I just made the synaptic connections about why I like loading the dishwasher. It's because it's like an efficiency based puzzle game. It's like,
oh yeah,
how efficiently can I load this thing and get the most in there without overloading it? Like it's a thing you can look inventory. At. Like totally. It's like a thing you can look at and logic your way through. Whereas unloading the dishwasher requires a lot of knowledge of where my partner thinks all the dishes should go.
You've lived in that house for like 10 years. How do you not know?
Let's say the paradigm changes on a somewhat regular basis.
Oh yeah, we're pretty static over here.
Anyway, I like a thing I can just look at and intuit solutions to, and not a thing where I need to know where everything goes.
Let me ask you this: when you're loading silverware into the silverware buckets, do you sort them? Do you I assume
in the dishwasher?
Years in the dishwasher, the little thing where you put the silverware has tubs, right? There's
Yeah. No,
do you put all the same things in the tubs?
Hell no.
See, I put all the same things in the tub. So then when you're unloading, you just reach in and grab it and they all just go straight in the tray.
That would make some sense. Yes.
Also, I learned this. This is a wire cutter tip. You do forks and spoons up, knives down for maximum cleanliness and fewest spots.
Interesting. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah.
Of course, this is all purely academic for me as our dishwasher is still broken.
What? Dude, you should just go buy a dishwasher and then take it off of your rent. You are legally entitled to do that.
I know you've said that, but then he is also legally entitled to raise the rent subsequently.
He cannot retaliate against you for replacing a service that your apartment is supposed to provide.
I'm sure that he would argue all day long that those two events are completely unrelated. He hasn't raised the rent in 2 or 3 years, I think. And kind of also extremely contrary to popular perception, we are not rent controlled here.
Yeah, no, I know.
Our rent has gone up a lot.
Yeah, it's doubled since I've known you, I think.
Yes. I don't know. It is a constant struggle. You know what? This is derailing.
He pays for your water though, right?
Yes.
You're using so much more water because the dishwasher doesn't work.
Given his predilection for not spending money on fixing up this apartment or spending money generally, I should maybe make that argument to him. Like, hey, we're wasting a lot of water. It's probably really coming out of the water bill.
Water and hot water too.
I bet that might move him to action.
Yeah, I mean, a dishwasher is like $400.
Here's the problem: is that he put it on us instead of arranging a replacement or repair himself. He was like, okay, get somebody in to fix it, and then I'll pay for it. And I started calling appliance repair places, and that's a long story, but the dishwasher is so old that most of them don't even want to come look at it.
I'm going to go and tell you, if you have a 6-month-old dishwasher, appliance repair places don't want to fuck with dishwashers because they are an enormous pain in the ass to fix.
So this one, I looked up the model number. I believe this one's from 2001.
Yeah. It will cost you less to buy a $500 dishwasher than it will to repair that dishwasher, probably, assuming you can even get the part.
Yeah, I think I need to just pitch him on, hey, a modern dishwasher would probably be not much more than the repair process, and it would probably save you a bunch on the water bill.
if you get like a high efficiency Bosch that'll cost like $700 or $800, you'll use a lot less water and a lot less electricity.
Man, you know what? I might contact the landlord this weekend.
Yeah, send him a note. Send him a nice note. Maybe take him a bagel or something.
The reason this is stretched so long is that dealing with all this stuff is a huge protracted headache. Time.
Yeah.
Doing the dishes every day is like 20 or 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like we can summon the time and energy to do the dishes by hand in a way that we can't seem to go through this Byzantine process of dealing with all these parties.
Look, when our dishwasher broke, Gina and I did Ivan Denisovich rules, which meant 1 spoon and 1 set of utensils a day.
Okay.
It made things a lot easier.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah. Okay. You just chomp your bread to make your tooth mark so you know that one's yours.
I would actually answer this question real quick before we move on with dusting.
Oh, I like dusting.
Oh, I hate dusting. I don't mind the process of dusting.
Yeah.
What I mind is like 2 minutes after I dusted, looking at the surface and noticing, oh, there's dust on it again. Like, it's not, if I could dust like once, even a week, I'd say if I could dust once a week and see no dust until a week later, I'd be fine. But the problem is dust is always lurking. What I really would like to do here is eliminate the concept of dust.
What you need to do is put yourself in a giant baggie because you're the dust maker.
I know, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I turn on the air filters super high when I dust. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it makes me feel better.
Yeah, we do have plenty of air filters from room to room here. I mean, the biggest problem is we have to open the windows a lot.
Yeah.
For ventilation purposes.
Yeah, same.
And you know how that goes.
Yeah, especially in the city. The situation is grim.
Ugh, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's
anyway.
Okay. How about a question from Warbird? Who's your dream guest for the Tech Pod and or FOSS-Pod?
Oh, I don't know if I want to say that out loud.
Really? Well, okay. My actual dream being the operative word here. My actual answer that I don't mind saying because it's impossible is Carl Sagan. Like literal dream, like anything is possible guest.
Yeah.
I think if I could literally get anybody on, well, actually, if we're literally saying anyone from all of human history, maybe he would not be number one.
It's like Galileo number one.
Right.
I don't speak Italian though.
I mean, I think at that point you would probably want to talk to someone from a period of history that is poorly documented.
Isaac would be cool.
Let's get the curator of the Library of Alexandria on.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I think I don't know.
Alexandria. I'm sorry.
I think the Library of Alexandria is a different thing.
Yes.
I think maybe Turing would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another dream guest. Let's see. People who are still alive, though. Who's the dream guest? Who is the I don't know. Maybe somebody who's at Xerox PARC in the early days.
Yes, somebody like that. This has been discussed both, I think, on the Discord and privately among us. I would love to talk to some original Unix folks, like Ken Thompson or Brian Kernighan. Some of those guys that are still kind of around in academia.
Yeah, they're the people who were they kicked off the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie literally wrote Unix, the first Unix. Ken Thompson, I think, wrote the kernel of Unix, original Unix.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
like that.
Yeah, I never had the opportunity to interview Bill Gates when he was still at Microsoft, but we were close to it a couple of times, and it's kind of I don't know what I would ask.
Yeah.
The people like that have been interviewed so much. It's hard to you want to find new questions and new things to talk to them about, things that they haven't answered in interviews 1,000 times before. Right. So I don't know. Once upon a time, I might've said Johnny Ive, but given what we know now, I feel like he's maybe the least interesting part of that whole thing.
Sure.
I feel like he was just standing in a corner saying, make it thinner, thinner, thinner.
He's responsible for the great rounding.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, shipmate Clive. I've recently moved into an old house, which comes with features including walls impenetrable to Wi-Fi and old wiring. This means I get to live out Brad's dream of wiring the whole place with Ethernet. Another interesting feature of the house is a fire safe we found in the garage. It dates from around the 1880s, is the size of a refrigerator, and weighs 300 kilograms or 660 pounds or 47 stone.
Wow.
It's not really worth much and difficult to move, so I thought I might make use of it. My questions are, have there been any big advancements in fire safe tech in the last 140 years I'd be missing out on? And what would you keep in a fire safe?
Okay, I don't know anything about fire safe tech over history.
Over the long period. He included pictures here, which we might, maybe I'll try to put those in the show notes or something.
It's pretty big.
It's a big and very old looking safe. It's got a very cool looking metal seal on the front.
There's a subreddit for this. Do you follow the What's in Me? Or what
is that, let me guess, is that people finding things that are locked that they're trying to get open and see what's in there?
Yep. As explicitly what it is. Let me get I think it's what is in it. I can't remember. You got to be careful searching for inside things on Reddit, because sometimes you get things that you're not maybe looking for. But yeah, I'm not comfortable speaking to the usefulness in terms of protecting your fires. It's probably lined with asbestos or something that's really toxic now. That's fine as long as you don't disturb it. So it's what's in this thing is the subreddit. I follow 3 what something subreddits. What is this thing, which is like mystery objects that people don't know what they are. That one's really good. What's in this thing, which is opening shit that people can't figure out how to open. And then what's wrong with your dog, which is just goofy pictures of dogs.
Man, that's kind of harsh.
It's a pretty good subreddit.
What's wrong with your dog?
So I keep documents. I keep a hard drive that is like a deep, long-term backup of the NAS. Sometimes it's 2 hard drives, depending on how big the hard drives are and how big the NAS has gotten. I keep a spare hardware key, a spare YubiKey key with all the 2-factor stuff on it. It's basically a second hardware key to get back into my main email accounts and stuff like that, Dropbox and all that.
That's smart.
That's pretty much. Oh, and paper copies of the recovery keys for the key things in case all the computers are fucked up and my phone is lost.
Do you think things like Passport are fire safe material, or is that a little too like grab and go? Like you kind of want that a little more accessible?
My Passport is expired, I think now, because it expired during the pandemic and I haven't bothered to get it redone yet. I don't put stuff like that. I put like house documents, like mortgage, like our house paper stuff. Car titles are in there. I can't think of what else. It's not like, I don't know, not a lot of real exciting stuff in there. I don't know that I would trust a 140-year-old. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe the 140-year-old, like the 140-year-old fire safe is probably better than the $100 fire safe you'd buy at Office Depot.
You think so? I don't know. Like there's a picture here of the door open and it kind of just looks like metal on metal.
Yeah, but there's probably stuff inside there. There's probably insulation in there. It's right. Like I said,
this big,
lousy.
This big kind of seal on the front says Milner's patent fire resisting.
Yeah, fire resisting and fireproof are 2 different things. Like if I have water resisting and waterproof, I treat those differently.
What is the locking mechanism? I can't.
It has like big chunky things. It might just be a door. It might not be it might not actually lock.
Yeah, that might be true. I might trust this as a safe, but perhaps not as a fire resistant safe.
I don't know.
Let's hope that you never have to find out.
Yeah,
is what I would say. Here's one more thing. I don't know why I just thought of this. I've been like cleaning and purging the house, getting rid of old clutter and stuff.
Yeah.
I found, I don't know how this happened. I don't know how it ended up with me. I'm not going to say who.
Wow.
Somehow mixed into a bunch of old papers from the office, I have the birth certificate of someone that we used to work with.
Wait, what?
I think it must have been floating around an office at some point.
Like a notarized one?
I'd have to go grab it.
Or is it just a copy? You should give that to them.
I probably should.
Like the embossed one?
I don't know if it was embossed, but it definitely looked like officially printed and stuff. I have no idea why that was around the office in the first place, let alone how it.
You have to show that if you don't have a passport,
That
to
might,
get,
I bet that's
to prove that you're an American.
I bet anything that's what it was. Like somebody brought it, the person in question like needed to get international travel arranged and like left it in the office and it just got mixed into stuff. You're right. I should probably track them down and
you should give that to them
or just shred it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's an address you could send it back to. I know that we had a family fire in my parents' youth, my dad's youth, and their fire safe protected the paper, but all the family silver was in there, got melted down into a puddle. And then they had the silver recast into different silverware after that.
That's kind of neat. That's kind of cool to take the raw materials and make something else useful out of it.
Yeah, they took a big old block of puddled silver and it also ruined a lot of the paper that was underneath the silver, it turns out. So put anything that might melt at the bottom of the safe, not the top of the safe.
I could imagine that might be the case. Do you think any other metals mixed into the silver? Do you think any other metals mixed into that silver?
Look, I'm not a metallurgist.
All right.
Well, yeah, what do we got?
The requisite cake batter question.
Oh, always.
What's your opinion on Kermit replacing Spider-Man? He has linked to the somebody took Marvel's Spider-Man, the Insomniac one, since it launched on PC, and just replaced the Spider-Man model with Kermit the Frog.
This is fantastic. This is the best thing I've ever seen.
So, trying to think how to say this. I think PC game mods where you just replace a character model with another character model are both the lowest hanging fruit as far as mods go, but also consistently hilarious.
It's technically like, pretty hard for what it's worth.
I'm sure there are tons of ins and outs about getting animation to line up and not
like
mesh freak out or
making your rig compatible and all that is hard.
Yeah. I'm sure there is actually quite a bit of, but I guess I mean more like creatively, like but it just continues to be hilarious. Like it never doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like it's like getting the perfect character to swap out too is the key, because like if this had been Fozzie Bear, not funny, but the picture of Kermit with his weird spindly legs flailing out in the traditional Spider-Man pose, it's hilarious. It's really good. I love it.
Favorite all-time character swap mod? Shrek
for the tank and Left 4 Dead.
Oh, I've never seen that. That's not bad.
That one's a pretty good one.
Nothing will ever come close for me to the Macho Man Randy Savage dragon in the intro of Skyrim. Have you seen that?
No, that's really funny.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
Look,
it's the same dragon. They just replaced the head.
Yeah,
it's more the voice work. It's they replaced they like literally just went in and replaced the shouts of the dragon with Macho Man quotes, and that like so they get the reverb on them when the game engine plays them back. Like when he goes, yeah, like it sounds like it is echoing
the crop.
It sounds like it is echoing across the mountain range.
Oh, that's really funny. This is really funny.
It's good stuff. All right. How about a question from Cooper Co. What do you do with your digital photos? I recently had a data loss scare and thought I was able to recover everything. And though I was able to recover everything, it led me down a rabbit hole of how many photos I have that just hide on hard drives largely forgotten. This led me to look into digital frames, which seems like a market now filled with overpriced, relatively low-res screens that require a proprietary cloud system to add photos. Have either of you figured out a way to more regularly surface your old digital photos, or do they just largely sit in hopefully well-organized folders waiting for you to come across them? Very much the latter for me.
Oh, I upload them all to Google Photos, and then I have those Google Nest hubs around the house that show the photos all the time.
That's cool. And are they categorized by time frame, year, or whatever? Do you keep the metadata?
So the metadata stays. They use the metadata. I found out the other day that one of our family members has been taking photos for upwards of 5 years with the location data stripped because they never put allow on location data for the camera.
That stinks.
And yeah, I was sad about that.
That's unfortunate.
But so the way the Google thing works is you can say, okay, show everything in the library, or you can say just show these people and animals and places. And so I made a dynamic folder that adds new people constantly, new places constantly. And it like, the only bummer is like on like sad anniversaries or anniversaries of somebody's passing or something like that, you often see like bummer photos. But
I have had that experience too.
Yeah.
With dynamic photo serving, and it really sucks.
Yeah.
Is Google Photos good about exposing the original files to you? Can you like make sure you're getting the exact same? Because like the thing that has stopped me from using stuff like Flickr for a long time is, and maybe this is more of a problem with stuff like Imager.
Yeah.
Generally, they'll run it through some less than ideal compression and make it hard to, or in some cases impossible, to get to the original file.
So Google Photos will let you store the originals at the full size. They'll also recompress them to their proprietary, better compression standard. And you basically get like a count. They don't count the ones that they like. The ones that you let them recompress, they don't count toward your data total.
Oh, that's cool.
I just store the originals.
Okay.
Because it's not like, I don't know, it's like $100 a year to store all the photos, like as many photos as I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And it just comes out of my OneDrive storage. So it's not like I have a separate service. I just pay for OneDrive.
That's cool.
And that does Gmail storage and photos storage and other stuff.
Yeah. To be clear, like recompressed files to serve on your Nest screens or whatever, totally fine.
But I'm using this as like my deep backup too, because I store them on photos, and then I also pull the photos thing down and put on the NAS every once in a while.
That's what I mean is like, just in the event that say you want to switch to a different photo service, you want to be able to get the original files and upload those to the new service and not like go through a game of telephone compression.
Yeah. Well, and then the nice thing is with the Google Takeout thing, you can just say, hey, I want all the photos, and it'll grab them.
Google Takeout's kind of wild because that's also the tool you use to get like your entire YouTube history, right?
YouTube like history, you can Gmail, everything.
You can pull all these source video files that you have uploaded to YouTube from the beginning of the account down, which is kind of wild.
Yep.
Okay. You highlighted this. I assume you have something to say about it from Jordan L. Gentlemen, I need to build a watermelon slicer. Think a mandolin, but 4 to 6 times bigger. How do I attempt this safely? Have you ever thought of building something and then you question whether you want to proceed based on the danger? Did you proceed?
So the first question is, I'm going to say rather than a mandolin for a watermelon, what you want is a bandsaw like bread slicer type machine where it's like multiple ribbon saws that are the distance apart you want. Or alternately, you could do it like a deli slicer where it's a bandsaw with a slide on it that lets you just bandsaw the watermelon down, like a cold cut slicer. My job, it turns out, at Tested in the Mythbusters years was often saying, no, I don't think that's safe and we shouldn't do that.
Okay.
One of the Mythbusters was very responsible with safety, and the other one was also responsible with safety, but with a little bit of a chaos agent,
a bit of a devil may care attitude,
a bit of a like he knew it was safe and was confident it was safe, but like part of my role was to make sure that we exercised the conversation so that we all were convinced that it was safe and it wasn't just like living safe in his head.
Gee, I wonder which one was which.
So the project I'm thinking of is when Jamie said, the trees next to my house are blocking my view and they're on my property and I want to trim the tops of them, but I don't want to have to get a helicopter or a cherry picker to do that. Why don't we just put some buzzsaw blades on the front of this drone and cut off the tops of these trees? Mm-hmm. And I was like, you live in downtown San Francisco in a place where if the drone goes out of control, like it did on a shoot last week with the buzzing saw blades, you could do some serious damage and or murder someone.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to a quarry in Santa Cruz to test it.
And
it worked okay. It wasn't great. It turns out you need to be able to push against something to get the saws to work. It took us a couple of iterations on it. Eventually it worked. It was fucking terrifying every single time we fired up. Because basically it was like two little he put two high-speed like circular saw blades that counter rotated so they didn't make the drone rotate. And then put them on snappers that kind of like crab clawed the two blades together, and he would fly them into a tree and try to hit the tree with the blades in such a way that the drone didn't. It was like I said, we did it from far away.
Okay,
it was exciting.
So this video did in fact get made.
We posted a video.
I don't think
It's on
any
the YouTube
amount
channel.
of testing beforehand could ever make me feel confident that that was a good idea. Like you just can't account for something going wrong, even if it passed whatever test run you gave it.
Yeah, we went to a quarry, an unused quarry down in near Santa Cruz that is like people used to test dangerous things and had walls on 3 sides and the other side faced the ocean. So even if the drone like lost signal and started driving in any random direction, it would at worst fly out over the ocean and then the battery would die and we would lose it, or it would smash into a wall and crash. So we were fine either way.
Yeah. Just like, for example, there might be some kind of EM interference in a city environment that you didn't have in a remote quarry.
Well, he never, as far as I know, he never used it to actually trim the trees at the house.
Okay.
We decided I think we all agreed that it was terrifying after we actually fired it up.
Okay.
Because it was on like these little high speed motors, like that basically would run at like 5,000 RPMs or something ridiculous. And it sounded like a dentist drill, but with a saw blade attached to it. And also around that same time, we had another one of those drones take off uncontrolled when its GPS got jacked up and it thought we should return to sender at Hunter's Point. God. Yeah. That was an exciting day too.
That's something. I will just say in closing, I had the the opposite impression of the truth, apparently, about which Mythbuster is the responsible one.
Just to be clear, both responsible.
Yes, I know.
But like Jamie has a little bit of a mad scientist vibe that is that doesn't come through on the show a lot.
Okay. That's, again, I would have thought Adam was the excitable, let's just give this a shot kind of
Adam
guy.
is the excitable one, but he is like, look, neither of them. We had to, when we started doing videos on YouTube, we had to change shop safety processes for both of them because we kept getting comments from people that were like, YouTube has the fucking safety police on shop stuff anyway. So if you're sanding something and you don't wear a breath mask and you're sanding it for 2 seconds and you do it once a month, like probably fine not wearing a filtered mask with that little sanding. If you sand all day, if you sand regularly every day, whatever, you should always wear protection. The amount that they were doing stuff, it was probably okay. But you always get comments on YouTube anytime you do something that some person who doesn't ever work in an actual shop feels might be unsafe. Anyway, busybodies.
Fair. Yes. Okay.
We got one more, maybe?
Yeah. One
or two more.
How about #Bunny is open to new work? As we enter
Bunny crimes update, I believe.
Perhaps. Yeah. In fact, I think you might get more of an update in this question.
Oh.
As we enter Q4, it's time for year-end reviews. What were some projects, changes, God, is it really?
Yeah.
God, it is Q4. Oh, man.
Well, it depends on whether you're fiscal or calendar. So,
yeah. Okay. What are some projects, changes, or activities that you overachieved on this year? It's also time to start seeding ideas for 2023. So what are some things you need to replace or upgrade or improve in the next year that you can start allocating resources toward now to get a head start? Personally, is it time for me to finally update my resume and find a new job, or get rid of that last remaining VP that's holding my team back, or maybe both?
I think Bunny Fiend mostly talks about this on the other Discord, but
okay.
Like they've been advocating for their team in a way that makes me wish that I worked for Bunny Fiend at different times in my life.
That sounds awesome. The language, get rid of that VP, though. I don't know.
There's been a bloodletting at the Bunny Fiend industrial complex.
A figurative one, I hope.
Well, I mean, the people are no longer employed there. I don't know what happened to them.
Maybe they do different things differently around that office.
I don't think it's a Jason Bateman situation.
Oh, Jason Bateman?
Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman. Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, this year has been a like keep heads afloat.
That's
for me year.
That's perpetual status around here as well.
I feel like I don't know. Like I'm really pleased with where the FOSPOD is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like it took us a little bit to get there, but it's finding its legs and it's doing something that is different than this show and is fun and interesting and informative, and people seem to really like it. So that's exciting. New
episode up now with Jeremy Allison from Google, who is a maintainer of Samba.
Yeah. And he's been doing this. It's an interesting, I say this in the intro, but it's an interesting conversation with Jeremy because like he is aware that he is past that project is past. Like that project has transformed from something that was really important to Linux in the early days to a thing that is just expected to be part of the service.
Yeah.
And is available on a bazillion different platforms. And I think he described it as plumbing. So
yes, he likens it to plumbing, and he basically says, you know how people act or how they react when the plumbing breaks.
Yeah.
You can't have plumbing that doesn't work.
No, but it's a good, like that's the thing that I look at this year and I'm most stoked about. I think Matt and Sabrina have been awesome and have helped us a ton with that show. And I'm excited to keep doing more of them. So
my ongoing project, as we've talked about on Nextlander recently, is to reach clutter zero around here. Like
God,
there's an unfinished quality to this domicile that I just can't stand, and yet I can never seem to quite get on top of it. And I mean that both like in terms of clutter and in terms of like the network infrastructure around here. Like, for example, none of the services I used for things like Plex or music are functioning still. Like, I'm slowly rebuilding all that stuff as I get deeper into Linux.
Yeah.
And so like between physical clutter and like things like that to do, like, this is probably a peculiarity of me, but like I can't relax or just do fun stuff when there's things to be done. Do you know what I mean? Is that familiar to anyone? Like,
I get that when like things are broken.
Yeah.
Like if something that I like and rely on is not working, then I feel like I have to address it before I can kind of like sleep sometimes. Even.
Yes. It's
I've gotten better.
I have a hard time just like going and watching a movie or playing a video game when I feel like there's like stuff that's not settled around here, and yet there's always stuff unsettled. I never have the time to fix it all. So
yeah,
but things that's kind of like the dust thing though, right? Like things can never be perfect, and I guess sometimes you just have to wallow in the chaos around you and just do something fun.
I was going to say the addition of a 9-year-old into our house over the last 9 years has led me to sometimes you have to just embrace your crepulence. My project, I got to figure out board game storage because we've kept getting new board games and I don't have room for any more board games. I'm looking at a pile of them on my table over there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my winter project. I think is to get rid of the old. I'm committed to the standing desk. I like the standing desk. I've decided I've had it for almost a year now. And the next phase is going to be getting rid of the old desk so I can put some shelves up over there, I think.
Okay.
Storage.
Yeah.
Weird.
Speaking of getting rid of things.
Yeah.
One more cake batter question before we go.
Okay. What you got?
Actually, 2. Are you a butter or a margarine household? That's
butter.
Not a getting rid of thing. I think we
100%
talked about that on a show recently, or was that off air that we
maybe
talked about?
Margarine's bad for you.
I was talking about the kind of like earth butters, plant butters of the world. And you were like, yeah, those are just margarines. Those are bad.
Yeah, those are margarines.
Damn it.
Oil plus thickener.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Butter is actually
flavor.
Butter is actually preferable to that from a health perspective.
I don't know. I don't have cholesterol problems and I eat a lot of butter. That could just be me though. I'm not a doctor. This is not a medical advice show. Don't listen to us. But
yes.
But my we a lot of the margarine stuff had saturated fats for a long time. We stopped eating those because there's a pretty strong connection between them and different kinds of heart disease and stuff.
Yikes. Okay. I should do a butter audit around here.
Yeah. Anyway, we know
both
medical professionals. We should ask them.
Yes. All right. Last cake batter question. Does Brad still have that old chair taking up space in his apartment?
Did you get rid of it?
Chair's been gone for ages.
Okay.
Did we not?
I thought we talked about it. Maybe not. I still think you should have done the thing where you were I was walking through my kid's school the other day with her and they had a couple of office chairs and there's a ramp, pretty good, like 30-foot long, not a huge grade, but I was looking at it. I was like, hey, you want to get in this chair and ride this down the ramp? She's like, no, we'll get in big trouble for that.
It's a shame.
Damn it.
I think that chair really just needed a new gas cylinder and it would be probably just about good as new.
Send it away.
It found it. I think we talked about this. I taped a free sign to it and put it out on the sidewalk and it was gone within an hour.
Perfect.
It was still, for 18 years old, it was in pretty good shape. Those old monitors, though, got e-wasted. Did we talk about that?
Yeah.
Did I ever disclose the ultimate fate of the Dell monitors?
Did you send them to the e-waste?
Yes, I e-wasted them. I thought for ages about that actually was part of the indecision that kept them sitting around here was I could take them to Goodwill, but I don't think someone should actually use these. They're so old They could die at any moment. Even if they keep working, they use so much electricity because they have like
cold cathode backlights.
Like they shouldn't actually really still be in use, even though they technically work just fine. And I finally just came around to, you know what? These are so old, I should just e-waste them. Like,
you know what you should have done was taken them apart and taken the lights apart from the screen and then put the screen up over your windows.
Oh, that would have been
so that you have like an outdoor. No, e-waste. Get rid of them.
That could have been cool.
Send it away.
I should have taken one of those things apart.
Anyway,
they're gone.
So that's it for us on questions.
Thanks for all the questions.
If you have some questions, you can send them to techpod@content.town or post them in the question seeking answers channel in the Discord. Mm-hmm. And if you would like to join the Discord and aren't there already, you can join it by going to patreon.com/techpod. And for as little as $2 a month, which I think is probably going to, I know we've said this before, but I think it's time. I think we need to mix it up on the Discord, on the Patreon a little bit.
I think so.
Soonish.
We haven't discussed this.
We talked about it the other day.
No, we didn't.
Didn't we?
No, we did not.
Fuck, I've been having really intense dreams about like work related things. So maybe I just dreamed that we talked. Anyway, never mind.
Boy, what radical modification to our business model has Will dreamed up this time?
Look, I dreamed the other night that we used the assets for the Anacrusis, like the ship, the ISO-load, to make like an Event Horizon style survival horror game. So shit's weird right now in my brain.
I believe
anyway,
Godspeed to everyone.
Yeah. If you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/techpod and join our fabulous group of TechPod patrons, including folks like our executive producer tier patrons, Andrew Slosky, Paddle Creek Games Makers of Fractured Veil. Bunny Crimes, attest that the documents and statements provided are my own. I think Bunny Crimes had to do some depositions this week. James Kamek, Joel Krauska, Twinkle Twinkie, and Wedge. And since it's the last episode of the month, we also thank our associate producer tier patrons, including Andre M. Burke, Arthur Geese, Dave Julian, Eric Klein, Graham Banks, Jad Rita, Jason Nealon, Jay Maybe, Joseph Thorne, Nathan Phelps, Steve Lynn, Thomas Shea, and Travis Rosner. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate you very much.
And again, you can go to TechPod, patreon.com/TechPod to find out more. The community of folks on the Discord is a delight. I enjoy jumping in there and chatting, and they are kind and answer my stupid questions about things that they know more about than me. And we talk about bears also.
Bears. Can I just say it? Bears. Shout out to the folks in the Linux channel also for tolerating my nonstop torrent of questions about everything.
Look, it's a big change, man.
It is.
Yeah, I didn't really appreciate how good jails are.
Jails are, dude, I have been so far down. I've been reading like not exactly white papers, but like kind of like summaries of talks from straight up like security professionals in that world.
Yeah.
About like how safe are Linux containers? Like the breakdown I read from a talk was like this person described BSD jails as a first class concept. They were architected from scratch to do exactly the thing they do, and they do it very well. And that most of the Linux container solutions are built from first class objects in the Linux kernel, but are not first class themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like the namespace and C group features that they use to establish containers in a Linux are well thought out and stuff, but like the containers themselves are. Sorry, I'm rambling here.
This is a topic. We should talk about this.
It's a lot.
But I think that'll do it for us this week.
Yes.
Brad, you can go back to your containers. I'm going to go work on a video game, and we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.